So did you just pick up the brand new S23, S23 Plus, or S23 Ultra? Well, today's video I'm going to show you 23 tips to elevate your use of the brand new Samsung phone. Be aware everything will have time codes, so if you are aware of some of these features, you can jump around to the ones you are not aware of. Grab your popcorn or any special treat and a drink and strap in because this is going to be a long video. So first feature is maintenance mode. Essentially what this allows you to do is if you have somebody that needs to work on your phone, say you have cracked the screen and you need to take it to a shop to get it repaired or the screen replaced, essentially what this allows you to do is put it in maintenance mode where it shows no personal data and only shows the stock apps with no photos or files in it. It allows the technician to fully test the phone without you worrying about them getting into very sensitive personal data. Another feature that's really nice is lift to wake. Essentially what this does is every time you lift your phone, the screen will turn on. This helps with conserving battery a little bit because if the phone is setting down, the display or the screen will go off faster and help conserve battery. But as soon as you lift it, the screen will come on and then show you your display and notifications. So one of the nice features with Samsung phones is called edge panels and really is useful on the curved screens but really works on any of the Samsung phones. But essentially edge panels allow you to swipe over from the edge of the screen and then get essentially a separate app drawer or a shortcut drawer to your favorite apps. But it doesn't only access apps. You can add other tools like your favorite contact list or maybe additional tools for screen captures. This just gives you a good way to get into apps, especially if you already have one app open and you don't want to go home and then swipe up the app drawer. You can swipe this edge panel over and then get quick access to your favorite apps. Speaking of edge panel, do you also know with the edge panel, if you like using it, sometimes where its default location is, it may be too high for your thumb and so you feel like you're reaching to slide it out. Well, if that little gray area bar, you can actually hold down on that until it turns blue. Then you can move it up and down and adjust it where the edge panel is so it's easier to swipe that. Just be aware if you are using gestures, do not put it too low on the screen because it could be picked up as a false positive on gestures and thus you'll end up having issues with opening edge panel instead than going back or going out of an app. A very common smartphone feature nowadays is dark mode. This is a button that you can enable from the quick panel. Quick panel is the slide down menus that you do that has all the buttons at the top of your screen. You can add this by clicking on the dot, tapping on the dots after you slide your panel down, and then choosing edit buttons. Any of the quick panel things that I talk about in this video, those are how you do it. But with dark mode, essentially it blacks out your screen, taking all the white out except the text and makes the text white. This actually helps a lot on these AMOLED screens because essentially all you're doing is lighting up the areas of the screen that need color or that you need to see, thus saving the battery a lot because you're not lighting up every pixel on the phone, reducing your battery life. Speaking of battery life, another great feature that you should consider is Battery Protect. Essentially what this allows you to do is from the quick panel menu is to add another quick button that protects your battery and only allows it to charge up to 85%. The quicker you fully discharge or the more often you fully discharge and fully charge your phone, that does more wear and tear on your battery than keeping it somewhere between 25 and 85%. So this helps protect it at least at the top charge rate to keep the longevity of your phone that you've invested in for a little while longer before you start having battery issues. So we've all been there, but late at night you're sitting in bed, the screen may still be too bright for you and you're trying to figure out a way to get it just a little bit dimmer. Well, and you have the brightness all the way down. There's actually another quick panel feature that you can add to your quick panel that is called Extra Dim. Extra Dim will essentially dim the screen more so that it is darker in dark environments. On the flip side, there is a setting for extra bright. You do have to go into settings and display to get to this one. There isn't a quick launch button, but it essentially allows you to make the max brightness even brighter. This is really good in direct sunlight situations where it's really bright outside. Be aware this can only be used if you have adaptive brightness off, so you may have to turn that off before you can use extra bright. Do you have kids and they're getting into every app on your phone? Well, there's actually a kids mode on here, and it's another quick launch button. So if you pull down add button, edit buttons, and add kids, essentially this puts the phone into this graphical kids menu to where you can only set certain apps that they can get to, and it even has certain little cute animals to pick based on your kids' interest. And so this allows you to keep your phone in this kids mode where they can't get out of it. Even if they do figure out how to get out of it, which is by using the back button, they are still required to put in a PIN or user biometrics to get back to your standard Android. So we've been talking about brightness controls and quick panel quite a bit. Have you noticed with Samsung phones, to get to the brightness bar, you actually have to pull down twice to have the full screen menu of your quick panel, and then you have the brightness slider at the bottom? Well, you can actually fix that by hitting the three dots and then going to quick panel layout. From there, you can actually choose to show always the brightness controls. So this will allow you from one swipe down to see the brightness slider. Do you want to take an extra step to make sure you're seeing all your notifications? Well, there's a feature called edge lighting. Go into settings and notifications, edge lighting style. This will give you many options to choose, even a rainbow style that allows you to light up the edges of the screen. It's really cool on the S23 because the curved screen a little bit, but it works on any of the S23 model. But anytime you get a notification and the screen is on, it will light up this panel around the edges. Are you a user of widgets? Well, if you're using the default launcher that comes with Samsung phones, which is the One UI 5.1, you have a feature called Widget Stack, which essentially allows you to stack widgets on top of each other in one area of the grid. So you're not having a full page of widgets, but you can actually leverage having multiple widgets. Apple does something similar on iPad OS. You can do the same thing now on Samsung phones. So throw your first widget on your home screen, then hold down on the widget and you'll get a button to choose Create Stack. Then you can choose another widget, layer it on top. Fun fact about this, if you get all the way to the end of your widget, swipe again, it will go back to the first widget you added. So it just keeps rotating and repeating them. So an oddity with Samsung phones is you may notice that if you're using the navigation buttons at the bottom, they're actually switched. The back button is on the opposite side than usual, and the app switcher is on the opposite side. But there is a way to do this. If you go into settings and navigation, you can actually switch this if you have the buttons set to choose the different layout. You do have gesture control in here too, so if you prefer gesture control, you can choose that instead. Personally myself, I use the gestures. Did you know with the Samsung phones, you can actually increase the RAM? It's actually called virtual RAM. Or RAM Plus in this case in Samsung phones. But if you go into settings and device care, it will allow you to go into RAM Plus. It's the very bottom option. And then from there you can add 2, 4, 6, or 8 gig of actual storage and make it RAM. Why would you want to do this? Essentially allows you to keep more apps in background memory. So if you like to switch a lot between apps and keep your spot where you were in that app, you may want to consider enabling this. Do you do a lot of multitasking where you actually split the screen and utilize two apps, maybe like, for example, you're going through your email while you're watching a video. Well, you know, typically you'll open one app and then you'll go and find the second app and then drag it in place, which will activate the split screen feature. Well, you can do that every time, but there's also a way to utilize what's called app pair. And what that does is once you have the apps that you want to use in a pair, there's a little bar in between that splits the apps. If you tap right on that bar, there's a couple dots. You'll be greeted with a little pop-up menu where there's a star. If you tap that star, it will make that a pair that's a favorites that goes into your Edge panel. And then every time you want to check your email while watching a video on YouTube, slide your Edge panel out, tap that app pair favorite. Do you have some apps that don't allow multi-user accounts, or you need to be able to have those situations where you can have the app twice, or maybe you have very sensitive data that you want to be even more secured? Well, Samsung has this great feature on phones that I wish would come to a lot more phones. It's called Secure Folder. And essentially allows you to have a folder that can be biometric or a different PIN code place. That is my recommendation. If you have this secure folder, put a different PIN code on it. But anyways, it allows you to have the app on your phone twice. So let's just say Facebook, for example. You could have Facebook in your normal side of your phone, and then within the secure folder you could have Facebook again. You could have sensitive photos or videos that you want saved in there as well, and you can even move them over to the secure folder later. If you have a picture that you want to store into secure folder, you even have that option. If you go back in your gallery and hold down and choose where to save your photo, you can even choose to move it to a secure folder. So one of the other weird things with Samsung phones has always been the side button. And you hold that down, you would think you would get the power menu. Nope, not on Samsung phones. You get Bixby. So you can actually change that if you go into Settings, Advanced Features, Side Key. From here, you can actually choose what the double press on the side key does, as well as the long hold. I have my double press set as the camera. I find that very helpful, so that way you don't have to activate the camera from the bottom of your phone or go in your app list. You just double tap it even when the screen's off and it will activate your camera. But as far as long hold, now I can long hold and get the normal menu that you would get to choose to shut down or restart your phone. One of the other cool features with a Samsung phone, and it's starting to come to other phones as well because it's getting quite popular, is wireless PowerShare. So essentially it makes your phone into a wireless charging pad. So if you've got, you know, your earbuds, for example, or maybe a watch, you can actually set it on your phone and charge those. You can even take another phone and charge it on this. And how you utilize that is by activating it or adding this as a quick button in your quick panel. Always on display. This is a great feature with Samsung phones. This is what's called an always on display. It shows this, and when the screen is dim, it goes all in black and white. I don't have it on right now because I have Lift Awake on, but essentially this would do this kind of context where it is in black and white, and it still gives you access to see all your notifications. But did you know that always on display can be customized? And you can do that by, once you're at this screen, the actual lit up screen, hold down, and you'll hold down and it will prompt you for your biometrics. Once you log in your biometrics, you'll have the option to customize the time, how the notification style is, if you want just badges or if you want full details. Or if you want to customize your wallpaper directly from here. Thinking of the always on display, do you realize that once you hold that down and go into it, you can actually change the always on quick panel buttons. By default, they're set to your camera and your phone. But, you know, like I talked about earlier, my side key button, if I double hit it, is set to the camera. So to fully utilize these quick buttons, I switch them to something else. Like one of the quick action buttons I have is for the flashlight. just a few tips left. Again, I appreciate you. If you've stayed this long for the video, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. On to the next tip is single app pin mode. This allows you to lock down your phone to only one app. So let's say you give your phone to somebody to utilize or use that app. Maybe they need to use Maps, for example. Well, you don't really want them full access to your phone snooping around to other apps. You can use pin mode. So that is located in settings, security and privacy, and other security settings. There's an option in there called pin app mode. When you enable that, it will allow you, once you swipe up to see your apps, if you hit the badge at the top of the app, you'll have another option to choose pin mode. When you choose that, it will keep your phone locked into that app until you back out of it, and until you back out of it by holding up on the home button, and then you'll have to enter your biometrics or PIN to get it unlocked back into normal app mode. You've got that awesome photo with somebody that photobombed you behind, and you know Google phones have really been praised for the magic eraser. Well, did you know Samsung has this feature as well? It's called Object Eraser. Just go into the Samsung gallery, pick your picture, click the three dots. After you edit it, you'll get another menu that pops up, and in there is Object Eraser. Just circle around the object in the background that you don't want, and presto, it's magic, and the object is gone. And on to the last tip, and personally my favorite for customization, and that is Good Lock. So if you're using One UI Launcher and you really want to get into customization, look at Good Lock, app that's located in the Samsung app store. But essentially you go in there, you download this app, it will give you access to customize your themes. You can download icon packs, you can download additional features like Pintastic, which will allow you to customize the pin settings when you pop out and you get the pin menu. Look how different my pin menu looks here. That's just one of the features. You can change your navigation bar, you can change your notifications and quick panel icons and locations and features in your quick panel. You can even change how the edge of your screen works. You can even customize shortcuts on different points you touch at the edge of your screen. There's a lot of customization and additional apps to Good Lock that you can download to really leverage the features of the phone and get your phone very close to the customization options that you may have heard out of launchers like Nova Launcher. So if you stayed around this long, thank you so much. I know this has been a super long video, and I hope you found something, at least some tip out of this that you didn't know to fully leverage your brand new S23, S23 Plus, or S23 Ultra. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.